it's Lorraine from DreamBeyond. So today's video is just a little different. Today is move-in day for me. I'm moving from one apartment to another here in Braga, still staying here in Braga, but I'm moving more to the center of town. So this is a little piece of advice I have if you're moving here or moving somewhere new, anywhere new. Think about, do you want a car? I did not want a car here in Braga, and I absolutely love not having one. You don't have to worry about parking, traffic, gas, insurance, all that stuff. It's wonderful not having a car. But renting this apartment sight unseen, I took the advice of the realtor, which it is a beautiful apartment, don't get me wrong, and I can show you around a little bit. It is, but being here by myself, it's about a 25-minute walk into town, depending on what part of town I'm going to. So I came here on a D7 visa, which is passive income, but I do still work. I'm a travel agent, so I still work, and a lot of times I still work during the day because that's just normal how you're used to doing things, even though most of my clients are in the U.S., and it'd probably make more sense for me to work in the evening. But, you know, I'm used to working during the day. So, especially in the winter, it's very rainy here and gets dark early. And a lot of times I wouldn't go out and socialize. And I started to ask myself, why did I move here? Like, I'm not going out and socializing like I thought I would. I'm working, and at the end of my work day, I'm just tired and I sit and watch TV. Well, that's the same life I had in the United States. That's not what I moved to Europe for. So I'm actually moving into town, and I'm moving in with a friend, and she's got a 2-bedroom right in the heart of town, like right across from the bus station. So if we wanted to pop on a bus and head to Porto, easy just to pop over there. I don't need to walk in with luggage or take an Uber, which I will say Uber and Bolt are very cheap here. So that part is wonderful. I literally can bolt into town for €350. But that gets tiring after a while. Now, I have lost weight by walking. But again, at the end of the day, your work day, do you want to walk 30 minutes into town and 30 minutes out? So my advice to you is, if you do come to a new country and new place, make sure that especially if you're social like me. I am a very social person. I love to socialize with people. And so I have regretted being this far out of town. Now, there are some things that are very nice about being this far out is, you know, being on the outskirts of town, I'm closer to the really big grocery stores. There's a big Pinco Dos near me, a big Continente. But even still, they're still like a 15, 20-minute walk, and they're the closest to me than for people in town. And so, of course, here in Europe, you don't buy as much stuff as you do in the U.S. when you go to the grocery store. One, the refrigerators are smaller, which, speaking of which, let me just show you what, and I will say, even to a lot of European standards, like the friend I'm about to move in with, her refrigerator is smaller than mine, but this is my refrigerator. So it's hidden back here, but here's the refrigerator part, which compared to US standards is small. And here's the freezer part. And since we're in here, here's the rest of my kitchen, just so you can see. And hid under here is the washing machine. And you'll also find you have to get used to the fact that people don't really have dryers here. There's your dryer next to the window in the kitchen. But still, I had to adjust to. And this apartment's actually very modern, comparatively. So the friends that I'm moving to and with her apartment's a little older, so not quite as updated as this one is, but living room. It's kind of weird. Just so you know, this is supposed to be the living room and dining room, but I moved my bed into this room because on the other side where the bedrooms are, is very noisy. I'm beside a major highway, but here's like one of the bedrooms. And it's got, I love the closets. They do a nice job with all the built-ins and stuff. So that part is lovely. I've really enjoyed the closets. But this particular apartment is close to a major highway. And so the traffic noise was driving me crazy at night trying to sleep. Now today's Sunday, so it's not very bad right now. And you're probably like, oh gosh, that's not a big deal. But believe me, it gets very noisy. So I swapped them around. So now I have more like a little studio in there and just put my office in here in the bedroom. But like I said, today is moving day. So all this stuff is going to be moved. This is another little piece of advice I would give somebody moving here. I had a very easy move. And I've talked to some people that had a whole lot harder time than I have. And I really feel bad for those. You'll hear a lot of people say, oh, the bureaucracy in Portugal is terrible. I have not found it bad at all. My move has been super easy. I've had no issues with the visa process, nothing. All that's been great. But it can take time. So you got to be prepared for that. And like I have a friend who her process was not as smooth as mine. And she planned on packing all, well, she did pack all of her stuff and put it in storage to move here. And so her stuff has been sitting in storage for months. My advice is to sell everything. Just sell it. There's nothing that can't be replaced unless it has true sentimental value. And you really need to look at it and decide how big that sentimental value is to you. Because we hold on to stuff for a lot longer than most of us should at times. So I sold everything. I came here with 7 bags, and that was mostly clothes. I did have some sentimental stuff, like I brought me a couple Turkish lamps that had been a gift that really meant a lot to me. But I came and I rented a furnished apartment. Again, that's something I'd also suggest, is you don't know if where you land will be where you want to stay long term. And so it's nice to have a furnished apartment so you don't have to buy furniture to go in it. Because just like me, I was not as happy out here. I want to be in town. So if this had been an empty apartment and I had to furnish it, well, then that would have been a whole different story. So basically, I just have to pack up my personal items to move downtown, which is very nice. And then at some point, I will look at where I really want to be and if I'm ready to buy a place. And that's when I'll look more at buying a place that I get to furnish myself and maybe even a tiny bit of remodeling to make it a little bit more my own. But I just thought I'd show you kind of what it's like on moving day here. So you're probably thinking too, how do you get your stuff from one place to another? Good question. Because here you don't really do U-Hauls. That's not really an option. So luckily I have a friend that has a car and I'm going to pay him an hourly rate to help me move. There are people that you can hire, like companies you can hire to do that. I do think that I got a quote from one guy and no more stuff than I had. I felt the quote was a little high. So I just asked my friend about what he would charge, and he charged a very reasonable rate to help me be able to move. You know, again, we're probably talking about 7 bags, maybe 4 tubs. You know, it's not a lot kind of thing. And I did have somebody quote me €150, which I thought was quite pricey. So I just thought I'd give you a glimpse of moving day. And another thing about why I want to live downtown in Braga is there's so many little nooks and cranny businesses that go so unnoticed when you're just going downtown to meet somebody for dinner, just going downtown to go play trivia. So I can't wait to explore the city. Even though I've been here since October, I don't feel like I know the downtown area at all. And I wanted to be downtown for summer because there's going to be tons of festivals going on. And I want to be able to just walk out the door and be part of it. And when I'm tired of it, be able to walk 5-10 minutes to my apartment and be out of the chaos. So that was part of the reason I wanted to go ahead and get downtown. So once I get moved, I can't wait to show you around Braga and let you see some of the little nooks and crannies that would go absolutely unnoticed for years living out here, because I would have a purpose every time I went into town to go find something, to go to a certain place. Where living down there, I know I'll be out just exploring so much more. So for a rainy day in Braga, I hope you have a wonderful day. And by the time the next video comes around, I will be moved into the new place, and I'll be happy to show you how that goes. Have a great day. And remember, dream beyond.